Hey guys, it's Mike with another Guild of Guardians Spotlight video. Today we're taking a look at Ashwyn. He is a Cinder, Agility, Redeemer, Assassin. So I think he's the first Assassin that we've actually tried on the account here. We did get him outfitted in the gear that I have. He's not quite in that 600 to 650 range. But this is the best gear I have right now, so we're gonna run with. So taking a quick peek at his kit, he's got Rogue's Rampage as his ultimate ability. He's gonna hit the nearest enemy 6 times, dealing 70% of attack as physical damage, with each critical hit increasing the number of hits by 1 up to 12. So as he's hitting with critical, he's gonna get more and more hits over the 6. Ashwyn is immune to all damage while rampaging, so he cannot be hit while he's doing this. So if you can get his crit rate up, he's going to be hitting 12 times at 70% of his attack. So we do want to build him with attack and also crit rate. His next ability is Blitz. It's a single target attack. He's going to charge at and attack the furthest enemy, dealing 225% of attack as physical damage, and increases his crit rate by 25% for 5 seconds. So when he runs this, it's going to actually step up his crit rate. So then on the crits for the Rampage, he has a better chance of getting those extra hits. His next ability is Menacing Mark. It's a support ability. He's going to teleport behind the frontline enemy and strike them, dealing 225% of attack as physical damage. Marks them for 6 seconds. Attacked against the marked enemy will have 20% increased crit rate. So that will include himself as well as the rest of his team. And his last ability, his passive, is Ashwyn recovers 5% HP each time he performs a critical hit. This, I think, is one of the key pieces to his kit, because a lot of assassins are really hard to keep alive. And if you can build him with crit rate, he's going to make himself substantially more robust, and he's going to do more damage, because the more he crits, the more he's getting these extra 6 hits from the damage here. And then as you level this up, it'll move up to 100%. So as we look at his gear, ideally we would build him with attack boots. But for survivability, you might have to put him in HP or defense. I currently don't have any attack boots in the tier 6 gear, but I'm working on it. But we do have the crossbow over here that's going to add quite a bit of attack to him. They get him an extra 22.5%. We do not have the best gear as far as crit rate. It's something I'm working on for Darizda. We do have a little bit of crit rate going on here, and then I think that's it. So we just have that extra 10% that we're getting out of the helmet. But typically, if you could get 10 to 15% out of each of these pieces, plus he's going to grant himself the extra 25% crit rate for 5 seconds after that ability, his crit should be pretty high, and you could get quite a bit of damage going on there. I think he's got a lot of potential. We're going to go ahead and bring him into the Great Forge like we always do. He is a Cinder, so he's going to have neutral affinity in this battle. And we'll go on into the challenge 1 here. All right, so we're on into that first room. We're going to hit fight, take it off 2 times, and that way we can kind of see what he's doing here. He does have the healing in his kit that can kind of help keep him alive. He's rampaging, so you see he's immune for all that, and he went right through those enemies. So it almost looks like that rampage attack hits multiple enemies. It doesn't necessarily just hit the one, which it sounded like it was more of a single target. We're going to bring down our stun situation. We're going to avoid the stun, because that would be pretty hard for him to fight through, being out there by himself. If he's sitting there getting stunned back to back, he'd probably drop pretty quick. But I'd like to take a closer look to see how many critical hits he's getting, and if we can see that healing ticking up as he's doing it. So he did almost fill up his ability here. So it looks like that was a crit. There's a crit. So he's keeping himself topped off with the damage that he's receiving. And he does move around because he's an assassin. He'll go behind enemy lines, and so the front line is going to be constantly trying to keep up with them. But he's going to go through his rampage again. And yeah, so he just went right through him. He's got full health, so he's critting enough, even with just that extra 10%, to stay alive in this battle. All right, so we are in that 5th and final room, coming up against the boss here, and we're going to go for it. I don't think he's going to have any problems getting through here. He does quite a bit of damage, and that rampage ability does seem to affect multiple targets. So as long as he kills a target, I think he moves on to the next target. but he's kind of buried in there. But you see some crits ticking up. You see his health. He's at half health, but he's probably going to start healing. Yeah, you see those heals coming in, 29,000 every time he crits. Took a stun or two there. But he does move through here, at least the last two rooms. He moved through pretty quickly. This one has definitely slowed him down a bit. I don't know if he was getting stunned in there when we couldn't really see him or not. But yeah, so he's getting his crits going on. So he was in a little danger there, actually. So I think that if you're going to build Ashwyn, it would be critical to have that crit rate up. So if you have the gear to support that higher crit rate, then I would definitely say he's viable. If you don't have the gear to support that extra crit rate, I would probably sit tight on him till you do. But I think he's a great champion. He'd run right up in the front alongside a tank such as a Tuskrog, and then you'd have some back row support and damage dealers behind him. And he would do a lot of work for you as far as attacking the enemy. The nice thing with the assassins is they will go back and get the rangers that are sniping you from the back during their kit, which is definitely a benefit to try to take those out, because otherwise you have to work through their front line before you get to those rangers. So he definitely has a place in the game. I think definitely for sure early game and mid game. His use case for kind of later game, I don't know. I think he probably is going to be a little bit too squishy. But if you do have a really good set of gear with high crit rate, he might be able to just keep himself alive with if he was critting with every hit. So that's something to keep in mind. Like we were looking at his initial rampage. If he was getting these 12 hits because he critted on the first 6, he's going to be healing for 60% of his health every time he does this. So that's going to do a lot of work to keep him alive, not to mention all the other times that he crits during his other abilities. So pretty fun champ. I think he definitely has a place. So if you pulled him, I think he can do some work for you. I hope you enjoy him. And I think that's about what I got for Ashwyn. So I appreciate you taking the time with me today, and I look forward to seeing you next time.